Welcome to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show, a real estate investment program. Listen and learn how to use real estate to build wealth and passive income streams for you and your family. We bring you experts every day to discuss and answer your questions on everything from single-family homes all the way up to 600-plus unit apartment complexes. And now, the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show.
Welcome to the show. My name is Al Gordon, and as always, we're working on your financial freedom. I'll tell you what, we're in the second half of 2021. If you blinked, the entire first half of 2021 is gone. It's gone. It's in the books. It's in the record books. We're done with that. So we have 6 months going forward. 6 months going forward. So why do I bring that up? What does it matter that we're halfway through the year? Well, I think you missed an opportunity. I do. I think you missed a huge opportunity to invest in real estate and to change your life. I mean, I can say it no other way. I really can't. Maybe you didn't invest in real estate because you were concerned about the market. All right, that's fair. That's totally fair. That tells me that you have a sense of desire to obtain knowledge about what the markets are doing. So that's actually a healthy fear. Believe it or not, there are some healthy fears out there. But I guarantee you, there are things that you have heard that have caused you to sit back and not do anything with investing in real estate. Because somebody or something, probably somebody, said something that spooked you. They said something that triggered something in your mind that might have been a false belief, to be honest with you, that real estate is very risky, real estate takes a lot of money, real estate takes a ton of time. It's all nonsense. It's all nonsense. We're getting ready to have a celebration in this country. We're going to have a great celebration. We've got our country's birthday coming up. And it's this weekend. And it lands over a weekend. As a matter of fact, they've given everybody Monday off. Now, I'm going to work on Monday because I want to make sure you get the information you need. And I don't really feel like it's work. I feel like I'm trying to help you understand that there's a different path to financial freedom than the path that you're on. Yeah. And here's my point. 6 months have already occurred. 6 months are now behind you. You can't do anything with those 6 months. They're gone. So you're thinking, okay, all right, you're upset with me because maybe, you don't like the fact that I haven't done anything in accordance with what you think I should be doing. And my answer to that is, well, I'm a little frustrated. And here's why I'm frustrated. Because I know for a fact that you can change your life in the next 5 years. I know this as a sound, fundamental fact because I have seen it occur. I have seen people become members of Lifestyles Unlimited, go through our educational program, get the knowledge that they need so that they can get into the real estate markets, buy assets that will begin to change the fundamentals of their life. Yeah, I've seen this. I've seen people come to Lifestyles Unlimited with a lot of money. I've seen people come to Lifestyles Unlimited with very little money. And I've seen people come to Lifestyles everywhere in between. And I will tell you this, the map that we follow, the map that Del Walmsley put together over 30 years ago is fundamentally sound. It is grounded in experience. It is grounded in knowing what works and what does not work. It is grounded in the fundamental financial information that you need. And it's not like going to business school. I mean, you don't have to take the GRE or whatever test they make you take to get into business school. No. You come to Lifestyles Unlimited with a curiosity to see what we do. And we are more than happy to show you what success looks like. We are more than happy to share with you the information that we use to change our lives. So you've got an opportunity here this weekend. I think you've got a huge opportunity. And I don't mean go out and buy a piece of real estate, because that would be foolish. That would absolutely be foolish. Because you shouldn't buy anything unless you know exactly what it is you're trying to buy and why you're trying to buy it. You have to have goals and objectives. I mean, you just don't go out and buy real estate and say, oh, okay, I've got real estate in my portfolio now. Okay? That doesn't work. Or you go out and buy a piece of real estate so you can walk around with your chest puffed out going, hey, man, I own that over there. Yeah, that's not how real estate works. Real estate, when owned and operated correctly, is a business. It is a business that you establish. And unlike most self-employed businesses that are out there, where you've got to put 8, 10, 12, 14 hours a day, 5, 6, 7 days a week into it, real estate isn't like that. No, it's not. As a matter of fact, well, it could be. I suppose it could be. It absolutely could be. But when you follow our methodology, we're all about efficiency. We're all about understanding the environment that we're getting into. Because when you have the knowledge and you have the understanding and you can analyze the markets and you can see what's going on in the world, your fear melts away. All those voices that talk to you that go, real estate is risky. Real estate is expensive. Real estate, you're going to lose your butt. No. Well, okay, you lose your butt if you don't know what you're doing. But we know what we're doing. And I'll tell you what, I want you to come along. I want you to come along for this ride because somebody told me about Lifestyles Unlimited and it changed my life. Now it's your turn. When we come back from the break, I got a market update for you.
Welcome back to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. It's time to turn up the volume and fine-tune your passive income plan so you can create the lifestyle you've always wanted.
Welcome back to the show. Okay. As promised, I'm going to provide you some trends going on in the marketplace with regards to real estate investing. Yeah, you want trend information. You want to know what the markets are doing. And all this week, I've been focused on what I think is going on in the real estate market. Now, if you haven't caught any of the shows, let me just kind of get you up to speed on what I think is going on. And again, this is Al's opinion so far. But Al's opinion is actually supported by a lot of research that Al does that helps Al to formulate that opinion. As a matter of fact, the things that I look at the source data first. I do. I look at the source data first because one of the things that I have learned is that people will write articles and they have no idea what they're writing about. They're just it's kind of like they're writing a paper for college. You know, they're trying to sound like they have a mastery of the concepts, but they're just kind of winging it, right? Okay, well, that goes on in journalism. That stuff is out there. Now, not everybody does that. Trust me, not everybody does that. Some people have ethics. Some people want to give you factual information. So my thought on this is you just have to be selective on where you get your information from. So Marcus and Milla Chap, They've been part of our vendor program for many years. They provide different services with regards to lending and some other things that they bring to the table that we as Lifestyles Unlimited members, well, we can check out. We can take advantage of if we want to. It's all good. It's all here to make us successful. Well, one of the things Marcus and Millichap does is they do analysis. I mean, they've got a whole arm of their organization that does research. And these guys do a pretty good job of getting factual information out. Because now here's the drawback. If that firm put out bad information, they wouldn't be around very long. So I actually believe that a firm like Marcus and Millichap is very reputable. I think they do their due diligence. I think they peel back the onion to make sure that the information that they share with you is relevant, because they don't want to damage you any more than I want to damage you. So they recently sent out a report. Let me see. It's a report on housing. I mean, you can go to their site. That stuff is there. You can look it up. But this report was talking about, well, let me just give you the byline. It says, hot housing market spills over into multifamily rentals. I mean, this is the kind of article that is like right up my alley, because it's dealing with the two pieces of real estate that I think are the most effective pieces, the single-family rental markets and the multifamily rental markets. Notice that I am focused on residential housing, places where people live. I am not focused on storage. I'm not saying storage is bad. That's not what I'm saying. We just don't do storage because we find that residential real estate is more effective. It's a more effective model because here's the thing. People, when they rent a place to live, that's where they're going to be. They're going to be there. And if they don't pay their rent, if they don't live up to their lease, well, there are legal remedies that we can pursue if we need to help them understand that the business relationship is over. Storage. Let's talk about storage. People put their stuff in storage, right? Yeah, people, they pay money to store stuff. What if they decide to stop paying money for that stuff? Well, the way it works is, I guess you can foreclose on the unit and you get all the stuff that's in there, and you got to, you do a TV show and you have people come around and bid up stuff, right? Okay, but here's the point. People are more willing to walk away from their stuff in storage than they are from a place that they live. All right, let's talk about some other real estate. Let's talk about retail. Retail real estate. Okay, that's real estate that provides space for, usually for businesses to sell goods and services. How'd that go during the pandemic? Okay, now it's probably going to come back. It is probably going to come back. But there are retail operators out there that were significantly damaged because when the country decided that we didn't need to go to work anymore and we didn't need to go shop anymore, and there were only a couple places you could actually go, all right, why the need for all the retail? Office space, kind of the same way. I mean, there are companies out there that are really seriously rethinking the amount of money that they spend on places for people to work because they figured out over the last 15 months they probably don't have to pay for all of that. And if they do, they could probably shrink it down. I'm not picking on businesses, but okay, I'm going to pick on businesses. When a business realizes that they can cut costs and they can migrate those costs onto the back of their employees, it's good for them. It's good for them. So what am I talking about? All right, so if you're an employee and you're working from home, you probably already are paying for internet. You're probably already paying for electricity. You might even have a computer set up already in your home. Your employer doesn't have to spend money on that stuff. Now, maybe your employer's nice and they reimburse you for, costs, or maybe they don't. Oh, think about that. Think about that for a minute. But let's go back to residential income producing real estate. The market is on fire. The market is on fire. Marcus and Millichap, In their report, they specifically say that the months of supply of existing homes, and we're not talking about multifamily real estate, we're talking about just single-family homes. We're talking about, in their report, what they really focus on is just single-family houses, and they don't distinguish between whether people own them to live in them or people own them to rent them out. It really doesn't matter in the market space. The supply of inventory that's out there is 2.3 months. That is a very constrained supply. Yeah, that's part of what's driving these markets. The other thing that's happened is that the median sales price of an existing home soared 24% since May of last year to a median price range of $344,000. Yeah, that is significant. I don't think that's because the market is just artificially raising prices. I think the market is actually very healthy this time around. And statistics from Marcus and Millichap, well, they support my argument. As a matter of fact, they've got a deep bench of people they cite. Hey, we come back from the break. I'm going to switch it up a little bit, but I'm not going to tell you what I'm talking about. You're going to have to tune in.
We're back with the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. We're here to answer your questions and help you become financially free.
Welcome back to the show. Hey, I do want to wish you a happy birthday. Okay, it may not be your birthday, but America's birthday it's just around the corner. It's going to happen this weekend. I mean, we're going to have people celebrating, which is going to be different than last year where, depending on where you were, I think we were able to actually get out and do a couple things. I think Texas was trying to open up about this time last year, and then the coronavirus cases spiked, and then we kind of went back down into what it was. But I'm looking forward to a great weekend. I'm looking forward to, I'll just tell you, having a good time. I'm going to spend the weekend with my wife. We're going to take our dogs out. We're going to go do things that are fun. We're going to go out and do things that are fun. And I'm looking forward to it. I mean, we might even go over to the fireworks stands and buy some things that go boom. Who knows? It just depends. But I have to go back to what the markets are doing. Because I'll be honest with you, I just think there's too much noise out there that is convincing you that we're in this massive bubble, that all of a sudden it's going to be 2008 all over again. Yeah, the bottom is going to drop out. And you're of the mindset that you're just going to sit there and you're going to keep your powder dry and you're going to wait. Okay? What if the bottom doesn't drop out? Yeah. I mean, had you considered that? Had you considered that maybe the bottom is right where it's supposed to be? Hey, let me go back to this Marcus and Millichap report, because they made a very, very interesting point. And I'm going to read it to you verbatim. I am, because to be honest with you, they probably would have gotten an A on their paper, and I probably would have gotten like a B- because they write very well, and well, whatever. Okay, so here's what they're talking about. They're saying the leading edge of the 2 million millennial cohort. Okay, that's basically a data set they're looking at. These 2 million cohorts that they're studying, they began to age into the home buying stage of life during the global financial crisis. So they're referencing what happened back in 2008. They go on to say, deterred by the housing crisis that followed. I mean, some people got burned. I got burned. A lot of people watched people like me getting burned, and they went, ooh, I'm going to stay away from that. Many people delayed purchasing homes to live in. I mean, Marcus and Millichap is talking about people that buy property to live in it. They go on to say this. Although millennial home buying had picked up before the health crisis began, it was sped up dramatically as companies sent employees home to work. Yeah. No longer tethered to the office and confronted with economic uncertainty, priorities and lifestyles shifted, and home ownership became more important. That phrase right there gives you an idea of what is going on in the marketplace. People that live in America, people that you know, people that I know, people we'll never meet, have prioritized buying a home for whatever reason. They go on to say this. Buyers, however, were confronted with an already low supply of for sale options throughout the nation, which pushed prices higher. So Marcus and Millichamp is making a very clear argument that there was pent-up demand back in like where was my brain at? Back in 2019, that's what I meant to say. Can you tell I'm getting ready for the weekend? Okay, so 2019, people were thinking, we need to buy stuff. We need to buy a house to live in. They were thinking about that. And supply was already kind of tight. I mean, the real estate market was doing pretty good. And then all of a sudden the pandemic hit and everybody thought, okay, we're going to have all this masses of, foreclosures. It's going to be 2008 again. Well, none of that's materialized yet. Now, it's possible. It's possible none of that's materialized because the government keeps extending the CDC eviction moratorium. It was supposed to expire last Wednesday. It now is in effect through the end of this month. The assets that I own and the assets that I invest in, I am not worried about foreclosure. I am not worried about foreclosure because these assets are healthy. These assets are being operated effectively. They are cash flowing money into my pocket, which is a good thing. They have done everything they're supposed to do, and it's a good thing. Now, I'm not saying that properties that exist in the marketplace are not having problems. I think there are people out there having problems. I think there are people that own their homes, that live in them, that have been materially affected by coronavirus. I think the best thing those people could do is put their house on the market and sell it. Yeah, that's my thought. Because if you're in a position where maybe you're in forbearance, and maybe you're like 6 months behind in payments, or maybe you're a year behind in payments, you got to figure out how you're going to catch up. Well, catching up is not that easy. There's just no pile of money you can go pick up somewhere and just like catch up. So what some lenders are considering doing is taking all of that money that you should have paid, principal, interest, however they decide to organize it, and just add it on to the amount that you owe. I mean, that's one approach. And for somebody that was able to remedy whatever employment issues that they had and they're back working or whatever, that might be a good course of action for them. But in this market right now, this seller's market that we have right now, if somebody is really struggling, I mean, if they don't see a way of getting out of forbearance, I think this is a good opportunity to put that asset on the market and see what that asset will command price-wise. Because maybe this is an opportunity for you to avoid disaster. I'm just throwing ideas out there. I'm not saying anybody has to do anything. But when it comes to assets, now let's put our investor hat on. One of the things that's going on in the back of people's minds is this concept that there's going to be this flood of inventory coming out. And people are concerned about, well, if I go out and I buy property today to invest in, maybe I might be overpaying for it. Because if we get this massive landslide of properties that all of a sudden materialize on the market, so no longer do we have only 2.3 months of supply. Maybe we're like closer to 9. That's more like a glut on the market. That's going to impact pricing. It's going to put downward pressure on pricing, right? Maybe I should just hold fast. Maybe I should just wait for the floodgates to open. Looking back, if I had all of this capital in 2006 and I didn't buy any houses in 2007, because I thought the market was on fire. And then all of a sudden I waited till 2009 when all the foreclosures came out. I made a killing. Okay. I don't know who can predict like that. I have no idea. There might be one or two people out there that, are clairvoyant or something that can pull that rabbit out of a hat. That ain't me. But one of the things that I look at is measurable statistical information. And when somebody like Marcus and Millichap says there is demand out there, I'll listen. We'll come back for the break. I'm going to finish this argument. Stick around.
Welcome back to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. Now, let's get back to your map to financial freedom.
Welcome back to the show. Construction of new inventory in the housing markets has not kept up with household formation. I mean, that is a statistical fact. Housing completions have been subdued since all the way back to 2011 because, what happened in 2008 basically kind of imploded the new construction industry. It took a lot of time for new home builders to get back on track. Some new home builders never made it out of the 2008 through 2011 decline. No, they went away. Some of the bigger ones had enough cash they were able to ride it out. And they changed their strategies to start buying real estate, vacant land at distressed prices because they were able to do that in the business model. Marcus and Millichap, they're making some very strong points. And the points that they're making are supporting all the points I've been making this entire week. Because the demand for housing is there. The growth in this country is real. The population in this country is increasing. It's increasing. We have people migrating out of some areas of the country and going to other areas of the country, which is putting more demand on the existing stocks that are out there. I mean, think about it. The for sale inventory that's out there, all the homes that are available for sale, it's tightened further by baby boomers living to an older age and remaining in their homes, kind of like what I was doing, and more homeowners locked in at a moderate interest rate. I mean, that's the point they're making. They also say the low rate provides less incentive for owners to move, especially if, finding another house is hard. Now, here's the point Marcus and Millichap makes that I want you to listen to this because there's a lot of raw information in these two sentences. During 2021, remember, we're already halfway through 2021. I know it doesn't feel like it, but we're already halfway through. The high cost of building materials and labor, which is a result of the craziness that occurred in our economies when we went into lockdown globally because of the coronavirus. The high cost of building materials and labor, along with supply chain disruptions for housing supplies, I mean the stuff that you need to actually make housing, will restrict the pace of home construction, exacerbating the shortage. There are forces in place in the logistical supply chains that are constraining the availability of the resources necessary to construct the inventory that people demand. So where do people turn? Where do they turn? Well, to what already exists, right? Yeah. So you have more demand for what's available in the marketplace. You have people that are going, dude, I'm not moving right now. I don't need to move. I don't want to move. I'm happy where I'm at. Yet you still have more people coming into the place where you live. They're bidding up prices. They're pushing pricing up. And I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think that those prices will come back down. Now, they may go up and, peak and come down a little bit. I mean, a minor adjustment. But I just don't think that a $100,000 house that goes to $200,000 is going to come back to $100,000. I just don't think that's going to happen. Marcus and Millichap also says that they expect that this disruption in the logistical chains, they expect it to last all the way through 2022. 2022. That's another year and a half. Another year and a half that we're going to have challenges getting new construction built. Now, maybe where you live, there's new construction everywhere. I mean, actually where I live, there's new construction everywhere. They're building new houses right behind my house. That's kind of one of the reasons I want to leave. But I don't think the markets are going to fall. I don't think so. I really just don't think so. I think the pricing pressure based on demand is going to cause certain markets to go up in value. Now, if you're a real estate investor, you have to be concerned about the pricing of the asset in comparison to what the rental pricing can command. If those two ratios get out of balance, you start getting into like California, where in order to buy a house to have a cash flow, you got to put like 60% down. Yeah, it's nuts, but that's what they do in California. Okay, here's another point that Marcus and Millichap makes that I really need to share with you because, man, this is big stuff. See, this is statistical, measurable information I'm giving you. Existing home sales fell 44.5% during May. 44.5%. Yeah. What does that mean? It means, okay, if you had 100 houses for sale in April, you only had, I don't know, what's that number? 60? Now it's actually less than that, right? You had like 55.5 houses available for sale. That's a year-over-year decline of 22.8% of the available market space. Meanwhile, the number of new homes sold dropped 9.2% over the past 12 months. The modest supply of existing residences on the market contributed to the decrease. Yeah, the moderate supply of existing residences on the market contributed to the decrease because people aren't willing to, and people didn't necessarily sell in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, nobody knew how we were going to come out the other side, right? Home prices are also rising, restricting the number of houses that are affordable for renters seeking to transition to home ownership. What they're saying is that dream of owning a home, isn't that the American dream, right? To own a home? Okay, maybe it's a dream. It's definitely not in the Constitution, but it can be a dream, and I'm okay with that dream. But that's a problem. That's a problem for people that currently rent to get into the housing markets. That tells me that the real estate assets are becoming more and more expensive. I mean, personally, I can't go to a place like San Francisco and buy my dream house. I know I'm priced out of the market in San Francisco. But in the whole country of Texas, that's a different story. I can find my dream house, and that's what I'm going to do. But let's get back to this. Let me give you the final points that Marcus and Millichap makes because it really sums everything up that I'm trying to tell you, that I've been trying to tell you all week. More households will stay in the renter pool longer, which should generate interest in the 335,000 apartments due in the nation's major markets this year. So the apartment industry is building stuff, Class A stuff, all that new stuff that goes up. That's all Class A housing, okay? 335,000 units are supposed to come online in America before the end of the year. And it may not be enough. Yeah, I don't think it's enough. I really don't. The growing demand for apartments will push rents higher. Marcus and Millichamp, they just made that conclusion that rents will be going up because it's a supply and demand thing. It's a supply and demand thing. We are in a place in this country where our housing stocks are constrained. They have been constrained for the last 20 years. Things that the governments do to constrain new construction, I mean, it's stuff like environmental policies, it's stuff like tariffs, there's all kinds of things. The government has turned a blind eye to this problem. And I'm the first one to tell you I didn't get an A in any of my economics classes. But I paid enough attention to understand that the information that I'm reading here from Marcus and Millichamp is important. It is telling me that I need to be buying assets now. Because ironically, the house that costs $200,000 a day, today, I should say, didn't cost $200,000 10 years ago. There was a different price point. But over time, that price grew. And real estate is the only asset class that I'm aware of that increases value and stays ahead of inflation. Oh, yeah, this is good stuff. What you need to do is you need to come check us out. You need to become a member of Lifestyles Unlimited. The best way to do that is go to lifestylesunlimitedworkshops.com, attend one of our free workshops, and let's get you moving forward.
The Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented on the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.